Hello everyone, this is the Duke, and I'm going to be bringing to you my first YouTube cast in quite a while. It's been, I think, it's been at least over a month, and I'm so sorry about that. You know, you just get so busy in real life with like school and work and all that other not as much fun stuff as playing StarCraft. Well, clearly there really isn't many things that are as much fun as StarCraft, and life, certainly, real life, school and work are just not one of them. But anyway, this is a game that I had the pleasure of casting with Impulse Esports and their ISTL Indie Starcraft Team League, and this is a very excellent match, and I'm so excited that I get to cast it because this is easily one of the highest level matches I've had a chance to cast and just like be around. But anyways, let's talk about the matchup. This match is going to feature Starnan from Western Wolves, spawning Western Wolves, not Western. Wow, stupid Utah accent. From Starnan from Western Wolves. He's a Grandmaster North American Protoss player, fantastic player, and I want to do this game in particular because I know a lot of people are struggling against Zerg right now, and this is just going to be a different style than of what you can do against Zerg. So I hope you guys get a lot out of this. And in the top left from ALT.Gaming we have Dice, and I'm not sure what team Dice used to play for. BNY, I'm not sure. I know that Starnan used to play for Infused before he got picked up by Western Wolves. So you know that's a little bit of background. But anyways, the map, as you can see, is Ohana. I mean, and looking at the current state of the game, we are going to see a Forge Fast Expand opening out of Starnan. From Dice, we see a faster spawning pool, no gas being added on, and he is pooling money, which means he is going to be going 14 pool, 15 hatch-ish kind of opening. We see he's up to 16 drones now, which is, you know, not a huge deal. It just means that he's just going to have one more drone than he normally would getting down the hatch. And Starnan does see the drone get out, and so he's going to try and do a block on it. And right now he is just on a patrol pass. Starnan going a little wide, making a little bit of a micro mistake, and Dice is going to be able to get the hatch down pretty much uncontested. Now, Starnan's Forge is yet to be finished, and he actually just dropped his Nexus as well. So, I mean, it's going to be, if he is going to cannon rush, I mean, his window is definitely closing, as he really doesn't have the kind of money to do that. He can't drop, of course, a pylon right now and have enough money to drop a cannon, but that means if he drops a cannon there, he won't have a cannon back at home. And the pool is finished, so I do not believe he's going to go for a cannon rush. He's pretty much just going to chill for right now and just let this hatchery get up, which is fine. You know, two base Zerg against against soon to be 2-base Protoss. It's pretty even game, almost pretty much favoring the Protoss, at least until the third gets down. But fortunately, Dice does have this Overlord in a very good position. It's going to be away from the photon cannon, and in the position that he's in, he's going to be able to get a scout of the main and a scout of the natural, pretty much uncontested. So he's going to have more scouting information than you know a Zerg would normally have, just based on his Overlord positioning. These two Lings are desperately chasing this probe, and they are not going to get the probe. The probe escapes with just 3 health and a couple shields. This Zergling does get killed by this photon cannon. Now, third base is going down for Dice, and Starnan is scouting it right now with this probe. He is going to see the third base timing, and Gateway just finishing for Starnan, so he is going to be able to get he's going to start being able to produce zealots and aggression units to start pressuring this third base. Now, the third base in PvZ is so very important. I mean, if you can deny that third base, you're going to cause so much damage, and it's really, excuse me guys, really going to set back the Zerg player quite a bit. And it's very possible we might see that out of Starnan. I mean, with his choice of play here, and I actually like what he's doing here. He's only doing 1 gas on each because of where the Overlords are positioned. I mean, it is going to force scouting just to see gas timings. We do see a 3rd gas going down right now and a 4th gas. But yeah, based on the gases that Starnan has taken, we're going to see. We do see +1 coming out for him as well, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Robo come down as well, you know, maybe to get some Immortals out, because Immortals are pretty good in the PvZ matchup. Now, the Queen is very slowly making her way over to the third base, where I think Starnan is going to start pressuring. He is moving out his Zealot. I mean, you know, first to take the Watchtower to see if any units are on the way, but Starnan actually also has a probe up here too, and it's on a it's not just on a move towards the Zealot right now, and this Zealot is going to be able to kill off these Zerglings. Starnan, I think, is going to be able to save this probe. He will be able to get to the photon cannon in time, and another Zealot is going to move in there as well. Now, he is trying to go for the destructible rocks right now so that he can have a path to his third, because the Protoss really needs to take a third in his matchup, and 3 base Protoss can very easily win against 4, maybe even 5 base Zerg. It kind of just depends, of course, on how the rest of the matchup goes, but 3 base Protoss puts him into a really good position to have a lot of flexibility to build a really powerful army with upgrades, and also to build another army should he lose his, well, maybe not an entirely new army, or a whole army, but a good portion of an army, just in case he loses it. Starnan is looking to get aggressive right now, trying to put down a proxy pylon, and with moving out with these 2 zealots, I mean, he is going to be able to kill off a significant number of lings. DICE is going to be able to snipe the probe, which is pretty much going to shut down any further aggression, especially if he gets the cancel on this pylon, or even manages to micro down the pylon, and he is just going to cancel it. He's decided the 75 minerals are more worth it than possibly overcommitting to too much pressure. And Starnan is desperately trying to micro these zealots around, and he's killing off so many lings right here. Looks like he was able to kill off, between these 2 zealots, I mean 12 kills, and not losing a single zealot. That's a pretty good trade. Now, a robotics facility is down for Starnan. He is going for an immortal, like I predicted he would. And we also see plus 2 ground weapons and +1 armor coming out from him, which is just going to make his immortals just that much more deadly. We also see a Twilight Council out of Starnan as well, so he's going to start moving, of course, towards higher forms of tech, and does open up possibilities like Templars, DTs, and the like. Now, out of DICE, we see a macro hatch going down right now, and pretty much at this point in time, he's just running with lings. Although, interesting thing to note, he is going for the +1 ranged attack. And even though he doesn't have any roaches out, I mean, the +1 definitely benefits the queens, but it also helps out Infested Terran and later roaches if that's something he decides to do. DICE is going to try and poke in here, going for the 3rd base, where an Overlord is pooping creep, but it wasn't pooping creep early enough. And almost getting the immortal caught in there. He is going to try and get the cancel on this 3rd base, and if he does successfully get the cancel with the creep already down, it is going to severely delay mining time. But it looks like DICE is just going to have to retreat at this point in time, as there are quite a few sentries here. We see 4 of them, and that's a lot of force fields. Combine that with immortals who do pretty good damage against lings, and of course the zealots who are always excellent against lings. Looks like he's not going to be able to shut down this 3rd base. In response, DICE is going to be taking his 4th base at this point in time. He's also going to be taking double gas pretty quickly. Obviously, you want as Zerg, you can't just rely on lings to win the game for you. You kind of have to, just have to go for higher forms of tech like Infestors, and of course, Broodlords are always a great choice in this matchup. Now, also looking at this engagement, also looking at this matchup, we see double Evo Chamber right now, and +1 melee and +1 armor coming out for him. He has added on a Roach Warren as well, with and he's getting the Khalil Reconstitution out. And interesting thing to note, Starnan has actually had an observer here for quite a bit of time, so he does know that roaches are on the way. I don't think Starnan has really scouted much else. Oh, actually, he knows everything. He knows about the infestation pit, the double Evo chambers, so he's in a really good position right now. He has a ton of knowledge, whereas looking at, DICE actually has an Overseer flying through Starnan's base, so he also sees everything. He sees the Templar archives. He saw the Twilight Council. He knows that the Forge is going to work. So he's got a pretty good handle on what Starnan is doing. And looking at supply counts, both players are pretty even. DICE being slightly ahead, which is fairly common. We also see Psionic Storm coming out for him right now, and +3 attack and +2 armor. So Starnan's looking really good on the upgrades front. As far as higher tech goes, he's looking to be in a really good position. And wow, a Warp Prism is coming out for Starnan as well. And this Warp Prism is with Warp Prism play against Zerg. This is essentially the Protoss equivalent to drops. But the thing about Warp Prisms is you're not confined to however many units you're brought with you. You have the capability of making more and more units. Now, we see Twilight Council researching Charge right now. So combine that with some Zealots, which Starnan is pre-warping Zealots, and he is going to just go for the drop. Oh, however, DICE might spot this, and he does spot the first Warp Prism. So he is going to be rallying forces back to his main base. We do see Roaches here and Queens ready to intercept this force, along with even some Infestors. However, another attack is happening right now at the 4th base. We see a couple of Zealots worked in. Now, there are a lot of Spine Crawlers. There's 4 of them right here, so they are going to be able to kill off all of the Zealots. But the important thing about this is that they are mostly just denying mining time right now. and DICE is essentially forced to, yeah, just delay his mining on his 4th. Now, 4th base going down right now for Starnan, which is going to put him on equal front with DICE here. And Starnan is actually moving out with his Warp Prism yet again. He does have lots inside his Warp Prism, and inside the main, there is pretty much just these infestors right here. We don't see any spine crawlers right now. There are some queens, and DICE's forces are right now just in the middle of the map. DICE's forces is mostly infestor, but there are quite a few roaches and some lings mixed in as well. Now it looks like we're going to see a multi-pronged attack. We're going to see some zealots pushing towards the entrance to the natural right here. Oh, and some great feedbacks on the infestors. Manages to, I think he even got one of the infestors and did a lot of damage to the other one, even morphing an Archon and morphing in some zealots. It looks like these Archons and these zealots are going to be able to cause a good bit of damage right here. They are able to clean up all the lings. The Archon did finally fall, but it looks like the roaches are going to fall as well. And most of the infestors have been pulled back, so he's going to be able to pretty much hold from this. And taking a look at the current state of the game, if we look at the economy, we see both players are even. DICE does have saturation across 4 bases versus the 3 of Starnan, so his income is a little bit better, but Starnan is slightly ahead in workers, 86 to 82 right now, which is frankly just an impressive amount for both players to have. And also looking at Starnan's base, we see that Blink is coming out for him right now. He's got +1 shield on the way, +3 armor, and he's even got another Warp Prism. He's added on a Fleet Beacon in addition to his Stargate. So he's going to start going for that mothership, and a lot of cannons going down right now at the 4th. And he does not want to lose that 4th, as having that 4th is going to be so central towards his late game play, where he's going to have a significant force to accompany this mothership to go for the very expensive but incredibly deadly Archon toilet. And I like what DICE is doing here. His creep spread is it's connected all of his bases. I mean, it could obviously be a little bit better, obviously more towards the middle of the map, but with those spine crawlers there, he's able to very easily defend his base, which is a great use of the high amount of minerals he's floating right now. And DICE throwing away a little bit of supply there. Looks like he is trying to free up supply. Wow, and some storm drops right into the 4th base. Unfortunately, they were unsuccessful. Not that many workers have been killed so far. There are extra spine crawlers going down right now, and there are going to be ultralists joining this composition of DICE here versus Starnan. Now, Starnan does have a couple immortals, but he really doesn't have any units that hit hard enough to take them down. But important thing to note is that Starnan is once again pushing with a lot of zealots right now, and the ultralists are going to be joining right now. But if you notice, the zealots are actually picking off the infestors. We see 1 infestor fall. It looks like I think we saw 2 infestors fall that time. The Warp Prism was pretty much stopped, so not as much damage caused with that with that push there. And looks like both players are approaching maxed out right now. Starnan is rallying a bunch of lots into this 4th base right here. There are quite a few spine crawlers, but I think he's just going to go straight for the hatchery here, which is definitely a good choice, because if he can take down this hatchery, that's going to set back DICE quite a bit. And yet another Warp Prism is ready to go into the main there of DICE. And Starnan actually is able to clean up this 4th base here. Most of the spine crawlers remain, so he's just going to put the hatchery back up again. But that is going to delay mining for him. This 5th base is taking a little bit of damage right now from the Zealot with +3 attack. But yeah, with this Warp Prism here, it looks like he's going to once again push into the main of DICE. And I gotta say, I like what he's doing here. Even though these Zealot drops, they're not necessarily killing a whole lot. It's a great use of his money, because if you look at his current income right now, well, I'll come back to this in a second. It looks like we're going to see DICE engaging up the ramp. Unfortunately, he's going to run into a whole bunch of storms. They combine huge amounts of DPS from Archons, and not to mention a bunch of Immortals. And DICE is going to be forced to retreat. Not a great engagement for him. Running into those storms, we just saw DICE's supply dropped by about 60. All while Starnan is just all over the map. He's in the main. He's storm dropping the 3rd right now, and all of these, and some great drone kills right there, forcing the drones to be pulled. However, there are now zealots inside the main, and these zealots are even taking down ultralists. And like I was saying, this is such a great use of resources, because Starnan is floating a lot of minerals right now. He doesn't have a ton of gas, but with these extra minerals, almost 4,000, he can just keep warping in zealots. and just keep picking away at DICE's army, because I mean at this point in time DICE is in a lot of trouble economically. He just barely reestablished his fourth. His third isn't mining, and his main is mined out. He's down to just mining on his natural right now, and this fifth base isn't going to be able to mine either, as Starnan does have a very active presence on the map right now. Now, the one thing that Now, a huge thing that DICE does have going for him is that he is putting out a couple more infestors. He does have a greater spire finish as well, and I believe that there are some corruptors on the map here. However, another huge warpin of zealots going into the main right now, and there's even another warpin in the third base right now. A couple zealots and some stalkers. Now, Fungals are going to tear apart these zealots, but not before they pick off these some of these ultralists. And these ultralists are incredibly expensive units for DICE to be losing here, and DICE is running out of units to defend his main with. And all while Starnan's main army is pushing against the fourth that isn't even mining. Man, and look at these zealots. They're just doing so much damage. There is no mining going on in the main. Only mining in the natural. There's no mining at the third. The fourth is falling at this point in time. And there's a lot of zealots inside the main of DICE's base. And another huge warpin, and there's even some Templar to join him to make Archons. And now these zealots are going to do the worst possible thing that they could be doing right now to DICE, and that is picking away at his infrastructure. Now, if DICE loses these, DICE can't really afford to lose a lot of these buildings that are in the main. I mean, losing the spawning pool here, losing the infestation pit, and maybe even being able to get some of the Evo chambers before they finish up their upgrades, which is pretty huge. And pretty much DICE is just down to his natural. Now, he does have Broodlords, a couple of the Broodlords on the map, and he has some supply in Lings, but pretty much he is losing infrastructure right now. The Ultralisk Cavern is falling. Pretty much DICE's only mining base is about to fall right now, and he very well could get the Greater Spire, the Roach Warren. DICE is trying to counterattack the fourth, but there are just simply too many cannons right here. Even going to run into some of these Archons, and these Archons are just going to get mad Ling kills trying to burrow, but unfortunately there's a cannon right there. And DICE is getting into position to attack with his Broodlords. However, he doesn't really have anything to back his Broodlords up. He does have these 3 infestors, but he doesn't really have any Lings, any Roaches to buffer damage. Oh, excuse me. And these Templar are going to be able to get some good storms off on the Broodlords, and oh, it looks like Starnan is going to go for the Vortex. He's even able to get 4 or 5 of the Broodlords, and DICE is just going to GG from that. So, yeah, I hope you guys like this game, and Protoss players in particular, I hope this shows you, like, a great way to use some of that late game economy, just floating tons of money. I mean, looking at the damage that Starnan did here, he storm dropped the third, caused a lot of damage. Using about 10 to 12 zealots was able to take down the fourth, and just constant warpins into the main, he was able to completely clean this up and cripple the infrastructure of DICE. Which, if there's no units to build buildings, or the or buildings that are prerequisites for building certain types of units, then what's the Zerg going to do? He's going to roll over and die like DICE did. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. If you liked it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter, like my Twitch, all that fun stuff. And I hope you guys will continue to watch my videos in the future. So thanks for watching.